Hello everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at some of the, or actually all of the loose diecast models that Diecast Car Guru sent me in the previous package, not the one I just showed in the last video, but the one before that, the lost footage package, I should say. And let's start with the larger scale. So if you remember, he sent me the Lexus RX in the other pack, or in the most recent package, but before that, he actually sent 4 other larger scale models. Starting off with the Toyota Corolla. I didn't even know this one existed, and he found it, and I'm like, oh wow. In red. So what is this? This is a probably 9th generation. This is the facelift, I know that, because is there a year on it? No, but I think like the 2001 and the 2002 had like a unique front end, and then they changed it to this in 2003. So I think this is the 9th generation. I might be wrong. I probably should have fact-checked myself before this, but oh well. Really nice details, lensed headlights, taillights on the pullback. It is a pullback model, but you know, which a lot of people like. The fact that it has a pullback gives it a lot of bad rep. Like, oh, it's a pullback, it's for kids. No. Oh no, look at this. Like, this is spot on detail. This is, I mean, you could give it to your kids, but I mean, collectors can enjoy it too. Look at that. A little bit of detail on the interior on the speedometer. And we're gonna have to move them because they're large. The other one here is the Mitsubishi Evo, which I knew this one existed. I don't think I've seen this color of it. Taillights are lensed. They kind of look painted, but they are lensed. You got all your badging. Plate just says Mitsubishi Evolution on the plate. I like the off-centered plate in the front here, though. The grille is actually like clear plastic, and then you can see the radiator behind it, which is just a smooth metallic piece of plastic. Interesting how they did that, but you know, it works. It works because, of course, the clear piece of plastic has like the grid on there for the grille. Authentic rims. This one, oh, this one's right-hand drive. This one does not have a detailed interior. The Lexus did, which was very surprising that the Lexus had a detailed interior. Those two are Ken Smarts. These two are, actually, I think they're both this brand. Yeah, Teumo. I want to say Teumo. This is a Nissan Patrol. He said these are a Chinese brand, and they are showing up at CVS in America, the drugstore. The details are just awesome on these ones, though. They feel like, you know, this Patrol especially is like a little more robust feeling than the Ken Smart models. You do get this whole front piece is a lensed piece, which then they just painted the other details here, which is sort of what Tomica does. I mean, that's very Tomica-like. Flat black trim on the windows, which is always nice. Tomica does the same thing. V8 badge, grills, door handle. So this would be a Nissan Armada, just called overseas the Nissan Patrol, which I guess with the V8, it does kind of hold up to the Patrol's name. Very, very big rims with very thick rubber tires. And of course, they will pull back, but, or maybe I'm incompetent to operate this one, but you get silver paint on the rails and the very nice, might a little dirty, but a very nice pearl white finish. And then, of course, from the same brand, the R34, which is yellow, which is very surprising to see a yellow R34. I think Greenlight might be the only other brand that did one. If not, they're the only ones that did it plain, because I only know like the plain releases. And oh yeah, in the original video, I was very surprised to see them actually use, this lip is metal. This flat black lip is metal. Normally, you would see it like part of the base on like, even the Hot Wheels one, it's part of the base. On the Tomica one too. So it's interesting that they actually included it to the metal body. These ones don't have a detailed interior, but they have a little more like a detail engraved. Like there's no paint, but they do a little better job of like showing a lot of the details in the mold. But the doors get stuck open. There's taillights. All the badging, reverse light, skyline on the plate. And I think the wing is plastic. I mean, they paint matched it really nicely, but I think, you know, you can kind of see it. It looks like it's molded plastic. Accurate rims, which they look like they're painted. The rims might actually be painted here. Yeah. I don't want to ruin the tire, but you can see like the overspray on the underneath of the rim right there. You can see the black showing through. The rims are actually painted. Very nice quality. And that's how I found out like some of the Hot Wheels car cultures were the rims were painted, because if you peel the tire back, you can see like the overspray underneath and on the back of them, especially like you'll know that they're painted if you look at the back of the tire and it's completely black, but these ones cover it with the rubber, so you can't use the same trick there. All right, now the 164 models. I just put them all in the case to see them easier, and actually sorted them by brand. So, but that's it. Starting off with Greenlight. So he did a little purge at the time he sent this package. So he just gave me a couple models that he didn't need anymore. I don't know how many of these Golfs that he had, or is this a Rabbit? I think it's a Rabbit, actually. Yep, Volkswagen Rabbit, 1977. But what a beautiful model this is. It's really small, which is expected. Hood does open. Oh, it doesn't stay open. A little bit of detail under there. Very crispy detailing on the grille, the headlights, Volkswagen badge. Markers on the bumper. All the black trim on the bumper. Markers on the sides. And you got a silver pinstripe, looks like. Maybe that would be silver trim. Door handle. Trim on the windows. Volkswagen. Rabbit. Flat black trim. Oh, and I like the exhaust sticking out there. Awesome model. Greenlight knows what they're doing. Well, they know what they're doing when they're not committing quality control violations. This one doesn't seem to be affected by that, which is interesting because it's a really small car. How do they mess up on the bigger ones? We can start lining them up here. Next, Hot Wheels. This is the new, what is it, a Carrera? Cayman. Dang it. I can't get Porsche straight. GT4 from the Fast and Furious line. Yeah, he purged this one really quickly, but I really wanted this one, and I love it. And I think the wing is metal on this one. Yeah, the wing's definitely metal. It's like, it's really cold, because a plastic would not get cold like that. You know, you learn that from race grooves. You hold it up to your nose, you can figure it out if it's metal just by the way the coldness is on it. How cold it is. But yeah, I love this. I replicated it in Forza. Like, this is such a nice casting. This release is so nice, even though it's not actually accurate to the Fast and Furious version. This is the facelifted version. They had the pre-facelift, but actually I like this version better. Yeah, black with the white, all the black trim. Yeah, I love it. It's an awesome release, even without the Fast and Furious ties. This one actually was carded when he sent it to me. I opened it and then I removed the details, the decals on it. This is the Ultra Hot, or whatever they call it. Is it the Ultra Hots? No, they don't call it the Flying Customs anymore. This is the Civic from that line. You can tell by the wheels. I'm probably going to wheel swap it. But I just love that blue, and I could not stand seeing the graphics on there. I had to get rid of them. Oh, I didn't get rid of all of them. But I had to get rid of them because this blue is gorgeous, and I wanted it to shine. So that's the Civic. Target exclusive. Kind of like a super treasure hunt. All of them in that line do look like a super treasure hunt. Toyota van, which this is actually a dyed custom by Diecast Car Guru himself. And I just love this color. Very period correct for the van. And it does work really well with the blue trim. Just needs some wheels on. He said rims from the Subaru Sandbar fit on here, so I'm going to have to... Hopefully they do some with the 6 spokes, because I'm going to have to get some of them for extras. Because these wheels just don't work for me. They don't. Oh, and if anybody wonders what the interiors look like, that's why he left it. He left it to undrilled, so I could swap the wheels, because he didn't have any, which is okay. If you're wondering what the interior looks like, there you go. There's a little sneak peek. Oh, and you do have these backers on the headlights, which he was really smart with painting them. So they kind of shine through, and it gives a little more of a lensed look on there. Except that Hot Wheels doesn't like line them up very perfectly. They need to be a little bigger. But here, when you get it all together, you can see them shining through. Oh, it's not all together. There we go. You can see them shining through. It just snapped together, then it fell apart like nothing. Okay, you're going over there. Next one. The Hot Wheels ID R34. He actually sent me one in the package, and now I have one loose from him as well. I haven't even opened mine, so this is like, well, when I got this one from him, this was like the first time I saw it in person. And it's a awesome release. I love the HKS. Did I call it Falcon earlier? It's HKS. I love the HKS livery. It is very similar to Falcon, just by the way. The decals are cut, you know. But yeah, it works really well on this one. Too bad it's not... I don't know, it's a little dark to really fit in with the other liveries. Well, they're all different too, because this one's like a dark gray. The Civic was a lighter gray. And then the R32 was a black. So they don't really fit well with each other. Oh, but there's the Toyota, or the MBK van, which fits well with the R32. We have a couple more customs for Matchbox from him. We got the Hummer. Oh, hold on. Okay. Yeah, I had to cut for a second. Here is the Hummer. So he dyed it blue, obviously, from the original, like the grayish white that it was. This is a very pastel color, but it really fits the vehicle. Most of them are pastel anyway. But then this is the Matchbox moving parts, so the hood does open. And I still have to review the production version of the moving parts one, so that'll probably be soon, actually. Yeah, actually very soon. Because that's mix 7. I'm slowly catching up. Slowly getting there. But it's nice to actually have a little bit of a backlog. Because eventually I will not be... Hopefully we don't get there, but eventually I might not have a backlog. I don't know. Because I am catching up quite quickly than expected. But here's Subaru Forester. Now he made this one resemble a trim level. Maybe a limited. I think he did that because of the rims, because they're very chrome. Which I still don't really agree with Matchbox using these. They should have used, no, not these. What are the ones I'm looking for? Oh, these. They should really use these. I feel like they would work a little better, but I don't know. But he did go all out and detail the interior. We gotta get a good angle here. He painted the seats brown. Dash black. We got the display in there lit up. And rear seats are brown there too. Brown leather, I would assume. Classy. I like it when he details the interiors. Just looks so good. That's the real party trick with this one. He did paint the door handles chrome, mirrors chrome, and the roof rails chrome to resemble the trim level he's going for. I want to say it's a limited, but I could be off because I think Subaru changed their trim levels around. From what I've heard, they switched limited and premium because with my car, premium is the higher trim. But I think they switched it for limited to the highest trim, and I feel like that is a limited. But here's what I definitely know. This is a sport. So he completely repainted this one. There's a little bit of glue on here. I'm gonna wipe that off. I've done it before. I think it just happens with packaging, you know. Yeah, it's annoying, but I know how to fix it. So this is, yeah, he painted it black and painted the orange on there for the limited trim level. And the black rims looks very good. I love the, did I say limited? Sport trim level. God, I love the sport trims, even if they are just an appearance package. And he put a little orange accent in there next to the gear shift and on the air vents. Awesome. And another custom. This is the FJ, putting the plastic fenders to use because this actually works with the Zamac finish. So he left it Zamac. He painted the roof black, which actually looks really good with the Zamac. The front end details, the rear details, plain, simple, but I love it. Oh, that's not plain and simple isn't bad. I love plain and simple cars. That's the entirety. Well, actually, that's a bad example because there's like Tomica's a bad example of plain and simple because I mean most of their street cars are good, but then trucks I guess aren't really plain and simple because they got advertising on there. Love it. Love the FJ. We're running out of room. Next, this one was also carded when I got it. Oh God, where'd that go? I had a Tomica Jr. on my desk and it rolled right off. This one was also carded, but I opened it, of course, in that video. And of course, I don't have that footage of me opening it. But this is a kitchen haul, the first one of, or the first part of the first wave of 2023. So far, they've been kind of mediocre. I mean, this is the only really good one worth getting is the Ford Falcon, and they retooled it to have a trailer hitch. And oh yeah, he did give me the props too. Oh no, you know what? I told him to open this one. Yeah, so I didn't open it on camera. Duh. And he did give me the props, which might have put. Where did I put them? Well, they're nowhere near me right now, but they might be down on one of my other shelves because I have the other props set up kind of on my junkyard diorama. That's probably where they are. And low battery, of course. We got what? I didn't notice that before. Wait a minute. What? RIP, and there's a hand. Wait, why? What is this? Matchbox, what the heck is this? Oh. Apparently he's okay, but the board's saying he's dead. Maybe the board's dead because it snapped in half. The guy's okay, though. He's saying yellow. Sponsors. I like the white two-tone. The red and white two-tone. No front or rear details, and then you got, like, the same little stickers on this one. Mattel trailers. I like the classy two-tone on these, though. Very period correct. And it does hitch it up, and it hauls very nicely. Which, this one's going to have to go on the side here to fit in the frame. Actually, no. They're not all going to fit in the frame. And we still got half a case left. Time for some majorettes. Here is the transit van with the sliding door. No, they pulled a Tomica on this one. It's so weird for me. I love this color, but like, who thought like, oh, let's put it on a transit van? Like, very interesting. And also the red bumpers are interesting too, but I think they did that for the red interior, which actually doesn't look too bad with the screen. And oh yeah, this one has really good suspension. Oh, classic Majorette. All metal. Ford Transit. He painted the taillights and the front grille. Oh. And this little fuel, is that a fuel cap? And the door handles. Awesome. Always love older Majorettes, and we have a couple older ones here too, but we do have a newer one here, the Audi R8, which I kind of want to wheel swap because I think these wheels are way too big. If I just get like Matchbox 5 spokes, just a little bit smaller, it might look a little better. Yeah, so the newer Majorette wheels are kind of, I mean, their castings are really nice, but just they need help on the rims. The older ones weren't the best either, but they were still like functional on vehicles. They still looked fairly decent, and there wasn't as much chrome. I'm gonna have to move some of these around because I think this background's getting a little too crowded. Here we have a Volvo, what is it? A GLE, 760 GLE. I was gonna call it GL, but no, I already did a short on the Hot Wheels Volvo GL, which is a similar color, just a little lighter. Well, and a little more green. This one's a little more blue. Oh, geez. So he was telling me that, yeah, see, this one doesn't say made in France, so I think this one was moved to Thailand, if I remember correctly. This is a Thailand variant, you could call it. And gee, why don't the doors open? Oh my, there we go. There's one. There's two. But it remained mostly the same, except they got rid of the metal base. But it seems like they changed up the decals too. I mean, they didn't put any decals on this one. He painted that, but I think the ones from France had actual like graphics on there. But this is very clean. I like it. And this one's got good suspension too. Okay, this one. Maybe it's a good thing that I lost the old video because I completely didn't know this one had a party trick to it. So I'll give you all a second to figure out what... I mean, this one has a moving part to it. And if you don't really know this casting, this might be a little surprising. Does anybody know what moves on this? Here, I'll show the base. Okay, time's up. The hood opens. Maybe it's because this car is black and it kind of just like blends in. But I did not realize it opened until after I filmed the first video. So the engine details, nothing's painted, but there's a giant Mercedes badge on there. And it says Mercedes, I think, on the headers. Awesome. Taillights and headlights he painted. Very glossy black too. That's an awesome Majorette. This one does have a metal base. The bumpers are plastic though. Those are not part of the base. And suspension. Show the Volvo too. Very smooth suspension. Very elegant. Which really reflects the vehicles. Last up from Majorette, right? Yep, because there's a couple of milestones. We got the Peugeot 405 MI16 in red. This one he did not detail. This one's completely original. And this one does have graphics on it, but no painted details from the factory. This one also has opening doors. This one has different wheels. I mean, these are the more uglier wheels. I mean, these ones are acceptable. But I do like this casting. Really nice casting. A nice little sports coupe. Reminds me of, or sports sedan, I should say. Reminds me of the Nissan Primera a little bit. Actually, wait a minute. Well, I still got this one here, which the suspension pieces, I still got to figure out that suspension piece in there because it doesn't line up right. But the silhouette-wise, reminds me of a lot of the Nissan Primera. With the little wing. And just the way the bumper is, you know, with the little lip down here, then it curls up. Very similar vehicles. But yeah, the suspension piece will not stay in here in its form. So it's been kind of annoying trying to put that one together. I also don't know where the interior went. I should just flip it the other way. It doesn't want to go the other way, but I should just do it because that's the only way it will stay. But like, it keeps popping back up and I can't get the base to stay on because the suspension keeps popping it off. Well, it's annoying. Next from Majorette, Maisto, we got the Volkswagen Jetta, which they use this casting on and off. Like, they haven't actually discontinued it yet. They just use it like once in a while. It shows up and then it goes away again. It's a really nice casting though. Nice representation of the Golf. Beautiful blue paint. I think the only versions that exist are this blue one and the red one, I think. For some reason, I feel like there's a yellow one. There could be, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, it's an awesome release. I might wheel swap it, but probably not. But again, it isn't mint. There's a chip in it, so. Oh, and the back too. So I don't know. I might wheel swap it. Still an awesome release. Still, you know, everybody hates on, they don't do interiors. Well, yeah, but like, look at this. Like, look at the blue. Yeah, sure, you can swap the rims. You can paint in some details. And like, their castings are what matters, not the interiors. I mean, people will always complain when they see companies cheaping out, even if they're still producing good product. Same thing, like this one doesn't have an interior on it, but people still complain. But like, this is a really good casting, and there isn't other... It's not like there's an alternative first-gen Durango. Right, this is a first-gen. It's not like there's an alternative to it. So, I mean... Why complain? Why complain? I want a Durango with interior. Yeah, because if there's gonna have an interior, it won't be... I mean, the Subaru is a bad example because it actually has a molded steering wheel, but you know, some of these models have like terrible steering wheels. I mean, we've all seen them. Nothing here actually can be an example of that. Oh, here, the Civic. Actually, this one, that, whatever that is. And now I made a mess because the Civic fell apart. But yeah, people will complain about, like, oh, it doesn't have interiors, but then the same people will complain about, oh, the interior doesn't have enough detail. Like, oh, well, be happy with something. You wanted interiors, they gave you interiors, and then why complain about that it doesn't have enough detail? It's there, and you can barely see it. You can only see it through the windows, which sometimes, if it's tinted windows, you barely can see it. So does it matter? No. And yeah, you can say it's ugly, but you can't complain you want more out of it. But anyway, getting off track. Here's the Durango. They don't use these wheels much anymore, do they? Because they like to use their bling bling wheels. Don't know why. Especially with their completely stock castings. Like, everything Maisto does in the main line is like completely stock. Of course, they do the special little race cars for the truck sets. But I don't I hate those bling bling rims. I hate them. But let's go back to a golden age of nice though, where the interior folks can actually appreciate the. You don't hear them complaining much about the old Maestos, and it's probably because they had an interior and they looked somewhat decent. But this is the Celica, and this is getting harder and harder to find, and people are jacking the prices up. I don't know if they're really worth $40 like some people try to list them for. I mean, I want to spend $40 on a Maesto. Or, now, maybe if it's mint. But of course, just because I wouldn't spend money on it doesn't mean it's not worth it. I mean, that goes all the way to, it's only worth what someone would pay for. I mean, yeah, we all have standards. Like, a lot of us like to try to get rare cars for like a steal, like in a lot or something. And I think he got this one from someone on eBay for like 99 cents. You know, like that's how we want to get our rare cars. Like, we see it for like $40, we're like, eh. But yeah, very nice to have this one. And this parked nicely with the Honda Civic I got from Nick. And it does have a little bit of suspension to it, like the older Maestos do. One more car, though, that I put it at the end, so I kind of forgot about it. He did dye this one. And then I furthered the customization. Because it started out as the Mazda MX30. And, of course, I had a little bit of fun detailing these ones. So I left this one alone, mostly. I just painted the window trim just because it looked a little ugly. And then I painted the silver trim on the side here. I fixed the tail lights because they weren't really accurate. That's my normal one. I did a next trim level up with the one he dyed. So he did dye this one to make it like a darker gray. You can see that. And I painted the roof completely black. And I fixed the taillights on this one. And then I did, on my other version, I did like, I think this is the highest trim level. Don't really know though, because they're not sold here. So I'm just going based off of information. Where half of the middle of the roof is black, and then the edges are silver, and on the tailgate are silver. And yes, that's actually, they end at the taillights on the real car. But for some reason on the black ones, they have that full bar. I don't know, strange. But yeah, there are my 3 examples of the MX30, just to give a little bit of like deviation when they're in the case, because they're all going to look similar to each other. But yeah, those were going to the Matchbox collection, and that is it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much, Diecast Car Guru, for these models. Even though, I mean, that's a belated thank you, but I did say thank you on Instagram. So, I mean, another belated thank you. Always gotta. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.